you
All right.
know.
Any last words before we move on to our next topic?
Yes, I'm going to have to say something. No one's going to care about the black community having their own stores burning down until the black community cares about their own shit being burned down. You can't expect people from the outside to come with open arms, and then one moment you're like, we want to be accepted, we want this community to see us, and then as soon as they come over, you're pushing them out, talking about what's the real reason why you're here? Oh, why are all these white people marching here for us? Blah blah blah. They don't understand. Like, what the fuck what is it that a lot of the people in the black community want? Because this is what we used to talk about back in 2020 on this podcast. Because this shit still happened, and a lot of people act like they don't remember, and a lot of people act like they didn't read about it in the 60s when Martin Luther King Jr. Was assassinated, murdered, actually, and on H Street, people was burning down their own. H Street in Washington D.C. was burning down their own fucking shops and stores that was for the community because he got killed. What sense does that make? And look how long it took for H Street to get rebuilt. It took about like 45 years until something got done, because it didn't really start getting renovated until 2012, 2013. And I don't understand. A lot of people say this whole thing about, they didn't really put too much on our stuff. Yeah, when they were looting the fucking Target, everyone kept saying it's a white corporation. Oh, they have insurance on it. Yeah, but there's black employees working there. Now they're jobless. And then Target claims they're going to pay them still. But how fucking long? You don't even know that, because Target is probably lying, just like Starbucks be lying.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
We don't know how to keep shit in-house, yo. This is one of our...
Wait, hold on, because I need to finish what I'm going to say.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Candace Owens also, I know a lot of people don't like her, but a lot of times she speaks facts, and a lot of people don't want to hear it because they have this thing about her. They already have a bias towards her because of certain things that she has said. But Candace Owens actually speaks some facts if you really fucking listen to her. And I've had this argument on here too. When she went to the BET Black Summit, the BET Summer Summit, whatever the hell it's called, with T.I. and all of them, and T.I.
I think it was Revolt. I think that was Revolt, or it was Diddy's channel, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and with Killer Mike and T.I. and shit, and T.I. kept fucking wanting to talk over her, but she was talking facts. If you know your fucking shit like she did, you wouldn't have been talking over her, because you already know she was speaking facts. Why? Because even Killer Mike had to jump in for her and say, y'all need to shut the fuck up, because actually this sister right here, who is black, is speaking facts. This is shit that I talk about. This is shit that I read about. But y'all so busy saying because she just, first of all, she's not a Republican. She always said she was never a Republican. But then she would go back and say something about Trump. And it's like, okay, girl, like, what are you doing?
She's a conservative.
She flip-flops like Omarosa at times. But at the same time, I'm not going to hold one little thing that she does and everything she says out her mouth is bullshit or it's crapola. Like, I'm not going to do that, because sometimes she really does speak facts. But a lot of times people don't want to hear it. And a lot of things that my mom and I was just talking about today is that a lot of times the black community don't want to hear facts about themselves, and they don't want to look in that dirty mirror and hear the same shit, the rebuttal that people are talking about. Because, I'm still trying to figure out, when are we going to stop making music disrespecting women to the point where it's just disgraceful? Because quite frankly, I've never heard white music talk like that about their women. And cause I go to raves, country music, I don't hear them talk like that.
Wow.
And it's like, I really be sitting here trying to think to myself, I'm like, do I hear white music? Like, do they talk like that?
Nope.
Maybe a white rapper, but I'm like, these guys don't really talk about their woman like that.
Romance. They leave nothing to the imagination in them lyrics either.
And then with the Hispanic music, it kind of started changing, because the music from Dominican Republic, they kind of started the whole trend of talking disrespectful too, but Hispanic music, especially Mexican music, they weren't like that either. So I'm like, yo, like, when are we gonna stop that? And when are we gonna stop glorifying this hood shit and talking about drugs and talking about sex? When are we gonna stop that? Now, everyone talks about sex and stuff like that, but it's like, when are we gonna really stop doing that? Because we already know that it influences our young men, and now I find a lot of girls are really like acting like men too. When I say act like men, like, you know, like that whole, like, they talking and walking like niggas.
What about the girls?
F-R-E-E, fuck, nigga, freak.
So what did you?
Our black female artists are literally 50% naked on all of their videos versus their same white counterpart. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I'll get so tired of looking at y'all naked at this point. Like, put on clothes.
Yeah, but that's the thing you have to pay attention to. You have to pay attention to how they paint the image of black people in America. The reason why that narrative is so like,
you can put that label on other people, because that's not even other people. Like Normani,
but what I'm saying is, what you have to understand is, yes, there are black people that do that. There are black people that genuinely do that. But to paint that as the main image of black people is what I'm getting at, because that's what they do on purpose. That's the entire thing. That's what they do all the time.
But Wallace, as soon as we have black people that do something different, they get talked about like Sierra's husband. It's corny. Black people don't act like that. Black people don't do this. Black people don't do that.
That's the point that I'm making, you know what I mean? Because that image is there. You understand what I'm saying? That image is there for everybody to see. So it's going to be, of course, it's going to be scrutinized. Of course, people are going to have something to say about that type of behavior. And then when they look at proper examples of men actually doing their job like Russell Wilson does, they call it corny because they don't understand what it actually is. Because they've been conditioned to view themselves as, like, you know, low self-esteem.
But you can't say, I don't agree with the condition part, because it starts at home. It starts in your neighborhood.
But it is conditioned because
if you are growing up in a neighborhood with no cable, who are you conditioned to see? You're seeing your father smacking up your mother and smoking and drinking all the time. You're not watching no news, or you're not watching no nothing back then. You're watching little cartoons. You're going outside, play fighting with your friends. Who you're conditioned to see what? Who's influencing that? But your own family and the people in the neighborhood.
Yeah, but look at what you said. Those things happened, right? These things happen in the black community, right? So that's what I'm saying. The fact that type of stuff exists, but listen, the stuff that type of stuff exists in the black community, the stuff that type of stuff happens in the black community, yes, those are issues. No one is saying that stuff doesn't exist. But the point is, when you look at other cultures, they have their shit too.
Of course.
But that shit that's not what you usually think of those people when you first think of those people, because of the way that they control their image.
Exactly. We don't control our image.
Yeah, we don't control our image.
As soon as you get somebody that tries to show a different side of black people, our people are the first ones to scrutinize and say, get the fuck out of here with that whack ass shit, because this is not how we do.
Yes, that's true.
So it's like kind of like true. it's like you can't blame another culture for being like, this is how they act, and then it's always people talking about some of these racist tropes. I'm like, it's not even racist tropes, it's the fucking shit. It's true. Black people do eat fucking chicken. Because every time you fucking go down the damn street, you see a niggas wanted to eat fried chicken every fucking second in DC. Every second, they want to eat fried chicken. They're at the fried chicken spots. You at home, they fucking making fried chicken.
That's
and it's like, it's like, how can you be upset that they're saying that this is what black people eat, but yet you the first thing you want to talk about is Chinese people eating rice, because they do fucking eat rice.
Because they concern themselves too much. We concern ourselves too much about what other people think about us. We don't know how to keep things in house because we're busy thinking about what that person is judging us based on. And no other races don't fucking care.
We sure
other races
do eat
don't
fried
fucking
chicken.
care what other races think about that other race. They're like focused on whatever's going on. That's why you
and they always
rarely
talk
have
about
someone
white
within
people.
the race.
White people eat all these salads. Okay, that's a bad
like
thing.
they don't. That don't even hurt them. You notice that, right?
I'm like, yeah, that's why they're fucking
like a Chinese
at
do this,
60
like
years
the tiger
old.
moms and
The
shit,
mother is
that don't bother
skinny,
them.
and your fucking 70-year-old grandmother is over here with gout, fat, and can't even get out her motherfucking seat. Because you want to glorify drinking all that sweet ass fucking iced tea and fried chicken and mac and cheese instead of having your fat ass grandmother get her ass up and lose some goddamn weight.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about white people jogging in the winter? Look at that boy jogging outside in the winter.
You might know the people too much, man.
Bitch, at least they working out
all the way.
Right.
And savage and shit. Okay,
right. And my thing is like that, like everything you just said, like everything that we have been talking about up right now, like these are things that happen, right? So if something like that is observable for everybody to motherfucking see, there are going to be negative stereotypes about you based on that type of reality.
Because we have negatives. I can tell you negative stuff about Indians.
But what I'm saying is that cannot be the main thing that defines us, because that's negative. I don't want that type of stigma put on me. I don't want that type of stigma put on Black people. But I feel like a lot of people that actually see this issue don't actually really understand what is happening here. Everything you just named about people eating fried chicken and shit, like look at the environment that they are that they are forced in. You know what
I don't want it. I'm sorry. Nope. I don't want to hear that, because in Africa they don't be sitting there eating no damn fried chicken, and they barely have shit to eat.
An example. I'm going to give you an example.
Some areas. I don't want to make it seem like I don't know.
The reason why I'm saying that, but listen, the reason why I'm saying that is because there are societies where if you go outside, and I know you know this because I know like about other countries that you study them. Like, for example, let's look at certain cities in Norway and look at how they structure their society, and look at how in the happiness index they're amongst the highest. You know what I'm saying? We're not just talking about shit that's observable for people in the hoods to see. We're talking about something that is bigger than that, because these are environments that are placed upon Black people and other types of people because of the history of this country. I'm not saying that it's an excuse for their behavior, but I understand what the issue actually is.
I do too. But it's like, when you're going to make a change?
But they are in environments where that change is not going to be inspired towards them.
Whose fault is that?
No, but listen,
I'm sorry, whose fault? How do we go from the Harlem Renaissance, where we had fucking houses in Harlem, gorgeous houses, and then when they moved out and white people moved in, and then them white people moved out, and then the other Black people came in and started running down these fucking neighborhoods in New York and don't want to take care of their fucking property. Whose fault was that? It don't take you nothing to take a fucking broom and sweep your motherfucking driveway and your damn steps.
Because we don't look at ourselves.
It takes nothing to
We're afraid to look at ourselves. We're quick to blame.
And let me tell you something. In New York, the Caribbean side of Brooklyn is cleaner than the American Black side. Okay, if you go to Brooklyn and you see all them Jamaicans and Trinidadians, they be out there sweeping. They be taking care of their little bush. And same, depending on what kind of Hispanic, because some of the Hispanics are too American and they start doing the same shit too, like the American Blacks. But you go to some parts of like in Brownsville, it's more regular American Blacks in Brownsville than East Flatbush. And Brownsville is fucking ran down like Southeast, like Anacostia Berry Farms. Is ran down just like that. They don't take care of this shit. And I'm sick of us having excuses. It don't take nothing to sweep. Sweep your shit.
Accountability, man. Accountability.
You have all this money to spend on fucking weed. Go buy a bucket of paint and go paint your goddamn walls. It looks fucking nasty. You got all this fucking money to be selling cocaine and shit. Help your fucking neighborhood. Because my mother said back in the 80s, them dudes who used to do drugs, they used to be helping their neighborhood. Sometimes they don't do it. Sometimes they do. They used to have block parties. Used to have all kind of stuff. They don't do that anymore.
Got the weave, but can't pay for
formula.
formula.
I'm tired of us always having excuses for why we don't have nothing.